This is my little short review of what is currently stock, not box stock, because I've done some free modifications. Did like the slight rear body lift, just moving that mount down 2 millimeters or so. It's not perfectly straight, but it looks fine. And slightly, just barely unscrewed each shock, just to give it, I don't know, a half mil to a mil, and added, I don't have any like hobby grade grease or oil. I just put some silicone grease. There's still some excess right there, but it's a pretty heavy grease, and it's not really seeped out except for whenever I filled it up, so I just need to wipe that off again. Only driven a little bit, giving it some dampening instead of it being super bouncy. Mosquitoes are bad out here. So it's pretty settled and still has plenty of articulation. They were sticky at first when I first filled those, but everything seems to be good. Now I raised the front bumper, flipped the mounts, so you do have to trim the very bottom of that the body just a little bit, and moved up the mount, the body mount where the clip goes, to the highest, maybe a little beyond the highest setting, but the screw goes all the way in, so I think it's actually the real setting. But other than that, it's completely box stock. I bent the fenders here just slightly to make them not rub, so there's no rubbing anymore with the body. Full flex, complete compression, everything like that. My lights are not really plugged in, they just actually are touching the right thing. But this gives you more approach angle with this, and the slight increase in the shock length is giving me just, you know, the tiniest amount of ground clearance, but when it's this small it matters, I guess. I think that's all it did though. Just trying to get no body rub out of the factory fit. I've already ordered the brass knuckles, hot racing. I don't really want to put any rotating weight, so I'm going to steer clear of the wheel weights for a while. The next thing I'll probably do is the bigger 13 gram with the skid plate diff covers, do both of those. And then I've heard a lot of good things about that Emax servo, so those are on my list. And then down the road maybe do the bigger barrage motor. But I'm not too concerned with power or torque right now. I've been pretty pleased with everything. I definitely don't think anyone should ever buy department store, box store, non-hobby grade RC cars, because what's the point? They break, you can't do anything with them. So I need to get that light. I don't really care about the lights too much. I might eventually take them off, but if I could get some realistic setup inside the actual headlights or taillights, I would do them. But I've been super happy with this. I was into the bashers for a while and wanted to get back into the RC world, as seems like a lot of people have. But I'm gonna do my best to film just some little crawling while I don't have any tripod or anything currently. I'll do my best here. I just set these little rocks up in my backyard. I don't really have a place just yet that I'm dedicated to crawling. This is a little awkward with my phone in my hand. But you see it's not real bouncy. Modulation is amazing. It's a little high. So, like I said, I'm not really disappointed electronic wise. Everything else seems to be plenty of power, and the servo is probably the weakest electronically, but the motor itself I'm pretty pleased with. Still with the slide, slick rock. But I'll do a little bit of kind of faster driving on this section right here, just to tell you it's not super bouncy. It's gonna be a little one-handed steering. It stays pretty composed. A lot of leaves in here. It's a big stump right here. Let's see if I can get it up. But yeah, just wanted to do a quick little video of my new little toy here. For the price, I mean, there are department store toy grade rigs that are as expensive as this thing, but I think this is all you need. Fast enough to play with the dogs inside the house, and this is just me one-handed steering here, so please excuse some slow throttle steering. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I'll do one little clip of it going down here. Let's see what I can do here. Man, that's a pretty good little flex right there. There you go. See, it's super close, but it is not rubbing, I promise. Just with that slight change in the rear body, and also lifting the front's going to do that too. Puts a little bit of the weight towards the back, just the way the body's angled, but it's so subtle. I think it looks fine. See, not super bouncy, pretty composed over a lot of the drops. Super fun little car. There we go. Thanks for watching. In that last little clip, I forgot to mention, I did do one other thing. Before I ever did the grease, it's a silicone, it's the Sil Glide lubricating grease, mostly for like brake parts on cars. That's all I have laying around. But it, like I said, it seems to do the job. You can see it's like a clear grease. That's just where, like I said, when I first filled it up, I did it slightly overfilled just so it, I don't know, whatever would stay in there. I pulled the springs, I stretched them out a little bit, mainly on the front, did a little bit in the back, but I did the little preload adjustment. Actually, the black zip ties that, or not zip ties, but little twist ties that came in the box that with the truck itself. So I did that on the front too, but I wanted a little bit of more droopiness from which the new grease is not really giving it any, but a little bit more droopiness, less preload on the front, just to keep it down, I guess, if the weight's kind of shifting around. But that seemed to be enough. I put bigger zip ties in. I didn't have any little teeny ones before, and it was way too much. The truck just set up real high. It was super stiff, and it was still bouncy, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I actually like these tires. I haven't had any issue on just rocks. Now, I'm not really trying a lot of like dirt or wet, so I know people say they're real hard. The next thing, the first tires I'll probably actually get the Method wheels and glue on the Milestone Patagonia tires. I think they look cool, and they're real popular in the Jeep world too, so kind of fit the truck pretty well, at least in like the overlanding world. So that'll be a cool little change up without going too overboard. Maybe bead locks in the future, but I'm doing a pretty budget friendly approach for a while. Like I said, I'm just doing the knuckles. I might do a update on that eventually. Would love to do with the servo that I talked about, the little aluminum steering components, and then maybe eventually the 4 links and all that. But definitely the brass components, I want to do the knuckles and then do the heavier diff covers. But other than that, I don't know right now. That'll add up pretty quick, so give it some time, see how every little mod changes things, and decide from there.